everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. I am Sunny. I'm here hosting with Caleb, aka at Jam the Man.
Woo!
Say hello to the people, Caleb.
Hello, everybody's.
Well, we have some stuff to talk about today. As promised, today will be our Banlist episode, but we did clickbait you a little bit. We're not going to do everything in one big Banlist episode.
Since we announced that we actually have a friend of ours who wants to come on and talk with Banlist with us.
Right.
So we're going to split this up. So today's episode is what we think is going to actually happen, not what we want to happen.
Right. So, like Caleb said, we're going to split it up. And the reason that we're doing it like this is because this way we can get our actual predictions out there in case the Banlist drops between now and when we want to record. And like between now and when we want to record for the next episode, in which case, if that happens, the next episode will be a Banlist reaction.
Oh, yeah.
And so, we'll have, when the Banlist hits, we're going to try to figure out a way to record, like, immediately on the spot our quick reactions, which means I'll have to take my lunch break at work and just call Caleb and have poor audio. And then
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So we're going to try to upload a quick 5-minute instant reaction. And then the next episode after that will be a much more detailed breakdown on our actual
thoughts.
Yes, our actual thoughts and our actual assessment of it.
But and then then of course we'll move into what we wish would have happened instead of what we hope happens.
Right. So today, like we said, this will be our actual predictions. What we think if we were Konami, or if we had the inside scoop and Konami was telling us this is what we're doing, this is what we think they would tell us. And the next episode will be if we were going to ideally make our own list, this is what we would end up doing.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to start off, though. We're going to hit the quick play notes. We're doing things a little bit differently this time because somebody went and broke their phone.
Oh, it didn't break. I didn't break it. It just decided to stop working. That's my luck. Anyway. So to start with, we now know due to the Egyptian...
What I was leading into is because you broke your phone, we're having to do this a little bit differently now.
Yeah.
So we're turned at awkward angles, but we're going to make it work.
Yeah, we'll make it work. Anyway, so to begin with, we now know for a fact that the Wicked Gods are going to be reprinted in King's Court. And we know this due to the Egyptian God Structure Deck power-up slip, I guess. It's a little fold. Right. It's a little fold out where it says, "Hey, if you want to upgrade your deck, get this product and get this product."
Right.
And they specifically stated that the Wicked Gods are going to be in King's Court. Wicked Dreadroot, Wicked Avatar, and Wicked Eraser.
Okay, so and those will be technically an option if you want to do 3 of the Egyptian God Structure decks. Try to build a competitive deck. You can get some of those to power it up or whatever.
Oh yeah,
is the idea.
And the only reason why I even brought them up is because they're specifically mentioned on one of the Obelisk cards, Divine Evolution, I think.
Oh really?
Yeah, because it specifies one of them. I think it's Divine Evolution. Says something a Divine Beast or the Wicked Eraser, the Wicked Dreadroot, or the Wicked Avatar.
Interesting that they're making the Wickeds a part of the God archetype
Because they are.
Oh really?
So in the anime, in the manga, actually, I think the Wicked Gods were a manga archetype only.
Oh, okay.
Where basically Yugi used all 3 of the... I'm talking out my rear end right now, but I think Yugi used all 3 of the Egyptian gods against the Wicked Gods, and that was just kind of the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
just while we're here talking about the Egyptian God decks, I think it's very interesting that the Harpy's Feather Duster reprint in the Egyptian God decks is a super rare.
Yeah, because the only other printing of Super was the Spanish video game promo,
which is like thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah. Now speaking of manga, we now also have the names of the next 3 V-Jump promos. We have Laraj, the God of Archery, bad effect. Puppet Queen, who's awful.
Yeah.
And Outburst Dragon, effect to be announced.
Yeah, we don't even know what the effect is here.
Yeah, of Outburst. Now, the thing about Outburst is it's going to be... I imagine it's going to be similar to Noctovision and Absolute Router, where it's a high-level, low-attack, high-defense monster that's supposed to help you with your rockets. Where it's kind of it's part of the rocket archetype, but without actually being a rocket monster.
Oh boy, another Dragon Link extender.
Pretty much. And then we got 3 of the Utopia Structure Deck reprints. Utopic Onomatopoeia, who if you're doing a Zexal anime deck. He's a 3 of. Zubaba Banco, Gagaga Coat, and Dododo Dwarf, Go Glove.
Zubaba Bancho, Gagaga Coat, Dododo Dwarf, and Go Glove. I just wanted to see if I could say them.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason why it's named like that is the 4 onomatopoeia archetypes are
Zubaba,
Gagaga, Dododo, and Go.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I see it.
Yeah, so they just kind of combined a bunch of them. And, breaking news.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to run this in with the quick play news, but this is kind of a bigger thing.
So this, I'm going to call the section breaking news, because we got this information this morning.
It wasn't even this morning. It was like mid-afternoon, just like 5 hours ago.
Yeah. The next Gold Series has been announced, which we will be getting this fall. Gold Series El Dorado. The premium gold rare cards will make a return from Maximum Gold, the previous gold set. Mm-hmm. There's going to be 10 new alt arts. We only know 2 of them. IP Masquerena with her on her motorcycle, which goes with the IP Masquerena alt art stuff coming out in November. The binder, the sleeves, and all that.
Playmat.
Yeah. And Nightmare Unicorn. Please stop that.
Sorry.
But that still leaves 8 unannounced new alt arts. And it also specified a new number Exceed monster, and it stated that its effect would give it just a metric buttload of attack. So It could be C1000, it could be Utopic Future, because C1000 gives itself like 100,000 attack points.
Right.
Unnecessarily high, but whatever. And then I think Utopic Future does the same thing.
What's really interesting to me about this is that after all the bad press they got about the new premium golds, they're sticking with it and they're doing more of it. Because with all the printing errors that they had, with the cards being as thick as they are, and like if you can't allow a hobby league, how can you really justify allowing this?
Yeah, outside of we're the ones printing the cards, therefore we're the ones making all the money.
I guess. It's pretty annoying. I do know that one of the alt arts that was that I've seen floated around was Destiny Hero Plasma.
Yes, because the OCG already got their alt art Destiny Hero Plasma.
Right.
And let me say that alt art is
nice.
It is nice.
Yeah.
It's not disappointing like the other hero alt art we got.
I like the Stratos alt art. I just don't like that it's in gold rare.
Fair enough. And we already know one of the premium gold reprints, Chamber Dragon Maid.
That's really nice. So this will give the opportunity. This will give the people that want to play the Chamber Dragon Maid deck. I mean the Dragon Maid deck, but don't want to bust shell out. At the time, $90 to $100 at its peak for Chamber Dragon Maids. I mean, the rest of the Dragon Maid cards that came in premium gold are dollars. $1, $1.50.
Oh yeah, like yesterday they were at like 90 a pop. This morning, when the rumor was still out, before they officially had an announcement or anything, when it was still a rumor, they dropped down to 60, and then once it was officially announced, they dropped down to 50. What are they at right now? Because I see you looking them up.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. Keep talking.
Okay. Anyway, so this is...
They are at... TCG says, a near mint first ed, you can get one for $45.
Yeah, no,
it dropped in half in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, they are tanking hard.
Honestly, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, so am I. But like this also allows people who have all the other Dragon Maids in Premium Gold to be able to get the last one in Premium Gold, the only one that didn't get reprinted.
It's so interesting to me looking at this market. I know we don't do Market Watch here because for those of you that are wondering, we don't do Market Watch here because
neither one of us are smart enough.
Well, also yes. But the main reason really though is because the market moves so quickly and we record 2 days in advance that it's hard to really give you pricing updates and give you market updates to the minute when we're 2 days behind by the time it gets announced. So sure, we can be telling you it's 45 right now, but looking at it realistically, the lowest verified on TCG is still 55. And then you've got 5 or 6 listings of people that are just, 600 sales, 100 sales, 7 sales. So sure, it might be 45 right now, and it might get down to 35 by the time it gets posted, but it also could go back up to 60. So,
so there's no telling for the next 2 days between us recording and us releasing this episode.
Exactly.
So buyer beware.
Exactly. And For those of you in the EU who never saw it get up that high because for some reason everything's just more expensive in the US, it was that high here. It really was, I promise.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know, like, there was a short stint where it was at $100 a copy.
Yeah. And the Starlights were like, what, 600 and something?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was ridiculous.
I think somebody posted one for $694.20.
Yeah, it's sold.
Get it? 69,420.
No, I got it. I'm like, I'm also 9% sure it's sold.
Actually, I think the Starlights were selling for like that much.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even right now, the Starlight lowest verified is 570,
which is still ridiculous. So we're going to go ahead and move along now.
So the next thing we want to talk about is the Structure Deck R Lost Sanctuary. So this will be the updated version of the Lost Sanctuary Structure Deck released in 2011, 2012?
Something like that, yeah. For those of you who aren't aware, that would be the
Agents.
Yeah, Agents and Master Hyperion.
Yep. So this is the Structure Deck that basically reprinted all this, gave them extra support, and made it a Tier 1 strategy back in 2011. So for those people that play 2011 Plant Synchro, this was the Structure Deck that basically brought the strategy. This was, in my recollection, the first Structure Deck that actually like was meta warping out of a Structure Deck.
Oh yeah, I know. You bought 3, you were good to go. Like, at the time, I could only get 1, and it was still worth the purchase just because of the Solemn Judgment that was in it.
Right. I mean, at the time, realistically, you could buy 3 of these and have a very, very competitive deck.
Oh yeah. So first off, the first new. So far we know we're getting 3 new cards. First off is a new Synchro called Master Flare Hyperion. Light Fairy, like size of Synchro, level 10, 3,200 attack, 2,600 defense. Made with a tuner and 1 or more non-tutor fairies. Now here's the thing, because he's level 8, you can Synchro him using Master Hyperion and Agent of Mystery Earth, who is a tuner. That is your intended materials to make it, but you can do other stuff as well. You can only use this card's first and second effect each once per turn. You can send 1 the Agent monster or 1 monster that specifically lists the Sanctuary in the Sky and its text from your hand deck or extra deck to the graveyard. Until the end phase, this card's name becomes the sent monster's original name and replace this effect with that monster's original effects. 2. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, banish a fairy monster from your hand or graveyard, target 1 card on the field, banish it.
And it should also be noted, this same Structure Deck in 2011, like if you dig into it and really look at it, it wasn't just a big reprint for Solemn Judgment, although it was, because at the time Solemn Judgment was still a very expensive card. Even though it was old, it was still very expensive. But this is, first of all, it released Master Hyperion. This was the introduction for Master Hyperion, so that card is wild.
Oh, and Agent of Mystery Earth.
Yes, and it was the introduction for Agent of Mystery Earth. This was the first real major reprint of Honest.
Yes, it was. It was the first time people could get a hold of Honest that weren't ungodly expensive.
Right, because before this, it was a Light of Destruction, Ghost, or Secret Rare.
Yeah, like how Dark Honest is now.
Right, it says there was another printing, Twilight Edition, Light and Dark, but I don't know what that is. But after this, it was reprinted as a common in this Structure Deck, which was like a big deal.
Yeah. Like I knew there's something else I saw in Judgment. I just couldn't remember what it was. It was Honest.
Yeah, Honest was like a big reprint here. As stupid as this sounds, Marshmallow was, I think, like a $5 to $10 card at the time.
Oh yeah, no, because a lot of people still ran it, just because at the time it was a decent card, and it's like,
honestly,
yeah. And it's just like, well, I've got the extra. I have this, I'm already running Upstart Goblin. Might as well throw one in too.
Here's something that a lot of people aren't going to pick up on. Air Knight Parshath was reprinted in the Structure Deck in common. That was the first common printing of this card.
Yes, it was.
Before this, it was Retro Packs, Dark Beginning, Tournament Pack, Legacy of Darkness, Ultra Rare.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Lost Sanctuary was a good set. It was a good Structure Deck. But
it really was.
Yeah, but back to this. First off, its first effect, it can literally become any Agent monster or any card that specifically lists the Sanctuary in the Sky. like, where do you see any sort of, like, I don't see how that would be useful, personally, immediately out the box.
I think part of it is that...
I mean, you could get Venus's effect.
Yes, you can get Venus, which you can use to summon Shine Balls.
Yeah, pay 500, you special summon Mystic Shine Ball out of your deck.
Well, no, because Venus doesn't list Sanctuary in the Sky.
But it's an agent. It says you can send one the agent monster or one monster that specifically lists the Sanctuary in the Sky.
Oh, okay. So, no. This is amazing because you can use it for Earth. You can use it for...
Yeah, any of the agents, first off.
Your Agent of Entropy Uranus, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
So that's like the newest one.
Yeah. Oh, wait, the new one that we'll read in a minute. You can also do that as well.
Agent of Life Neptune.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. And then it's also, if your opponent activates a card or effect, you can just banish a fairy from your hand or graveyard, and then banish a card on the field. It's also it's an alright interrupt.
Yeah, but I mean, being a level 10 synchro, I mean,
yeah,
the dude's not overly difficult to hit in the deck.
Absolutely not. Again, just Master Hyperion. The next card we're going to talk about in a hot second, as your non-tuners, and your tuner would be Agent of Mystery Earth.
Yeah, so literally Earth and Hyperion is this guy.
Yeah, or the next card which we're about to talk about, who's the face card.
Wait, you didn't even talk about the second effect of this guy.
I already did. You banish a fairy. It's an interrupt.
Oh, okay, yeah, you can banish a fairy from your hand. It's a quick effect.
Yes.
Target one card on the field and banish.
When your opponent activates a card or effect. Now, the card that's on the front of the box, the face card as I like to call it, is a new card called Majesty Hyperion.
Another new card.
Yeah. It's a dark fairy, 2100 attack, 2700 defense. It's an inverted Hyperion.
It's a invert. Oh, so its stats are backwards?
Yes, and it's also a dark fairy instead of a light fairy.
Okay, that's an interesting direction to take it.
Oh yeah. You can only special summon this. You can only special summon this card by. This one's worded strangely. You can only special summon by the first procedure of this card's name once per turn. 1. You can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing one the agent monster from your hand, field, or graveyard.
I mean, it makes sense that you can only special summon this card through that once per turn because that's kind of easy to do.
All battle damage you take from battles involving your fairy monsters are also inflicted to your opponent.
That could actually come up.
Oh yeah, no. Like during a long game where you're just sitting there bashing each other in the face. That's when stuff starts getting... Your opponent's got to start thinking, do I actually attack here?
You know what the hilarious first thing that pops into my mind is?
What's that?
The Ad Ignister Link 6. That'll have like 6,000 attack.
It's a cyber, it's not a fairy. But though, if your opponent makes it, they have to go, I can't swing because I don't have enough life points.
No. You can attack into it.
Oh yeah, no,
and
that
kill
too.
them just by having it sit on the field.
Oh yeah, no, like that too. But what I'm saying is, like, in that situation, your opponent makes it and they can't swing because they don't have enough life points, possibly.
I mean, they don't have to swing. If they make it turn 0, not realizing what you're playing.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, yeah, swing into it for game.
Literally, yeah, because it's going to... As long as you have 2 agents on the field that have, like, less than 2,000 attack, that's game.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well... You'd also lose. So you'd have to be able to gain life points somehow, which I'm not. Which in a fair...
it's also inflicted to your opponent. I thought it was inflicted instead.
Yeah, no. You also inflict your opponent, so you'd have to get life point gain on yourself somehow. Which, depending upon the deck, if they upstart Goblin, you have game.
Yeah, I guess.
3. Once per turn, banish a fairy from your hand or graveyard, then target one card in either graveyard. Banish it. If Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in your graveyard first. That's already an improvement right there. You can activate this effect up to twice per turn.
So Foolish Burial Goods puts Sanctuary in the Sky in your graveyard and makes this effect live for a double.
So a lot of the...
But this is not a quick effect.
Yeah, it's not a quick effect. So a vast majority of the agent monsters, for those of you who don't know, all have an effect, and then they have then they either have a power up to that effect or something like that, or a different effect that's a little bit better. If you have Sanctuary in the Sky on field, this guy has to have it on field or in the grave. Doesn't matter which. So that's already an improvement. And then next, the new Agent of Life, Neptune, Light Fairy Effect, level 1, 0 attack, 600 defense. Very weak. You can only use this card's first and second effects of this card's names each once per turn.
Oh, okay. So we're looking at the show notes. I thought okay, it's level 1 with 0 attack.
Yeah.
I thought it was level 10.
No, it's level 1.
I had to look at this like 4 times. I was going to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization website to double check this because I literally thought you typed it in wrong.
Nope. Level 1, 0 attack. I'll figure out a way to make it. I'll do something later. Anyway.
It's a joke. It's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. You can discard this card, special summon one of the agent monster from your hand or graveyard, except itself. But it cannot be tributed until the end of your opponent's turn. If Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in your graveyard, again, that improved effect, you can special summon one Hyperion monster instead.
Pretty good.
So with that, you can discard it. It's essentially monster born for an agent, or if Sanctuary in the Sky is on field or in grave, Master Hyperion, Majesty Hyperion, or the new Hyperion Synchro.
Well, okay. So here's something to note. If you have the Majesty Hyperion in your hand, you can only special summon him by his own effect once per turn. But it does not restrict you
From special summoning him by other ways.
exactly. So,
hold
theory,
on, real quick. Read the procedure to special summon Agent Hyperion, the Majesty Hyperion one more time, just so people understand this part before I read the second effect of Neptune.
Oh, you can only special summon by the first procedure of this card's name once per turn.
And that procedure is?
You can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing one of the agent monster from your hand, field, or graveyard.
Okay, go back down to Neptune.
Okay.
Second effect. If this card becomes banished, add the Sanctuary in the Sky from deck to hand.
I think Foolish Burial Goods dumping it would be better, honestly.
It probably would, but that's still an option if you don't have the full... It's a searchable way to get Sanctuary in the Sky.
Right.
So as long as you have access to Agent Search, you have Sanctuary in the Sky.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nifty. Let's see. And then of course the Structure deck will also come with reprints of Agent of Judgment Saturn, Agent of Wisdom Mercury, Agent of Force Mars, Agent of Miracles Jupiter, Agents of Entropy Uranus, who was released after the Structure deck, but
this is actually a recent release. The super rares of this card were like $10-$12.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Then we have Agent of Mystery Earth, Agent of Creation Venus, and so in Japan, the OCG version of this will have 2 copies of Mystic Shine Ball. 1 common, 1 normal parallel rare.
That's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, meaning that if you wanted 3 parallel rares, you'd have to get 3 of the Structure deck anyway.
Yeah,
and then it's also going to have Sanctuary in the Sky and cards from the Sky.
Yeah, but we won't get that.
No, we'll probably get Sanctuary and cards, but no one's going to bother running cards from the Sky.
No, I mean, we won't get the parallel rare Mystic Shine Ball.
Oh, of course not, no. That being...
Bro, Konami, can I have the OTS Ulti Mystic Shine Ball, please?
Please, that would be ridiculous.
Yas.
Maybe the next OTS after this comes out in TCG. Anyway, so back in the day, when people ran agents, they didn't run Sanctuary in the Sky because it just wasn't worth it. Because Sanctuary in the Sky's effect isn't very good.
Yeah, so for those wondering, for those that have never heard it, the Sanctuary in the Sky, battle damage to the controller of a fairy-type monster from battle involving that monster becomes 0. Oh!
Bingo!
Oh, that's the OTK thing. Okay.
Exactly.
This is how you proc it. Okay, this is how you make that happen.
Yeah, so now there's an actual reason to run Sanctuary in the Sky. Because it's a search. You have a searcher who can search it for you. Yeah, you have a searchable searcher who can search the Sanctuary in the Sky for you. That's a tongue twister.
Not only that, but once you search it and activate it, if you have another one in grave, you get more effects when it goes to grave.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you have it active and another monster on field, you can OTK your opponent using their own monsters.
No. Especially if they make that Link 6, that adding this Link 6 with 6k attack.
I'm not saying that that's going to be the use of it. I just think that that's a funny interaction.
Yeah, the fact that you can absolutely do that, and if they can't...
I don't know why that just popped into my head.
Yeah, and then, if they can't stop you from just decking them in the face...
Yeah, literally, the Agent of Life Neptune, the new one, he's only got 0 attack.
Yeah, so that's a full 6k to the face. Yeah, you lose your Neptune.
But all you have to have is another monster with less than 4,000 attack, and you win.
And hey, guess what? Majesty Hyperion does that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on now. Here's what we believe Konami will actually do on the ban list. Our ban list prediction because everyone's got to do. Every Yu-Gi-Oh content creator's got to do this.
Okay, so the best way to do this, I think, that we are doing this live. We did not prep this. The best way to do this, I think, would be we'll go through. One of us will give all their predictions, and then the other one will give all their predictions, and then we'll spitball it and we'll ask questions to each other about why they think.
Fair enough.
Okay, you want to go first?
Yeah, okay, I'll start. So I'm thinking right now, there's about a 50% chance that Guard Dragon LP gets banned.
Okay, yes or no? What is Konami actually going to do? That's the thing. This is a prediction.
Well, that's the thing.
I need to take a hard line stance on it.
Okay, so because of Chamber Dragon Maid that's coming out, the reprint, I would say is the only reason why I say that they may not touch it. So I'm gonna say they're not gonna touch it.
Okay, so you say LP stays where it is.
Yes, again,
Okay.
only because of the Chamber Dragon Maid reprint in El Dorado. However, I still think that there is a chance.
Okay, so your official prediction is
It's not moving.
okay. All right, Dragon League player, what's next?
Red Eyes Dragoon. I think it's time to say goodbye. I'm thinking it's getting banned.
All right, what's next?
Let's see. I believe that. Let's see. I think Apollone's going to get banned. I think Called by the Grave's going to get banned. If we get Crossout Designator in King's Court.
You didn't have App Cologne on one of your. You didn't have your name by App Cologne on the predictions.
Oh, I thought I did. Well, I do now. But yeah, no, I also
We're doing it live.
Yeah, I also think Called by the Grave's going to get banned if we get Crossout Designator in King's Court.
Do you think we'll get Crossout Designator in King's Court?
Probably not.
So you don't think Called by the Grave will get banned?
I don't think it will get banned. But if it does get banned, that's the why.
Okay, let's move on. Do you have any other cards that you think will get banned?
Nothing I can think of. So next up is Limited. I believe Maxi is going to 1. If Crossout Designator is in King's Court.
Will it be in King's Court?
I don't know. So if we see Maxi at 1, Crossout Designator is in King's Court, guys. Let's go.
Get your secrets and ultis now, baby.
Yeah. I think Fire Formation 10 Keys is going to get limited. Magical Meltdown. I think Blaster is going to go to 1. And I think Mystic Mind's going to go to 1.
All right. Any semi-limits for you?
Nope.
All right. What's gonna be at 3?
Okay, I believe that Nadir Servant's not going to be touched because it's going to get reprinted in the 10s. They got to make their money. I believe Miscellaneous Source isn't going to be touched because Konami hasn't read Misk.
Okay.
I believe Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon is going to go to 3 because they errated it to a hard once per turn. There's not that big of a reason to run more than one that I can think of.
Okay.
And then if we don't get Crossout Designator in King's Court, I think Call by the Grave might actually go back up to 3.
Okay, so all in all, you say LP stays where it is. So here are your bans. Mm-hmm. Dragoon, App Cologne, Misk. No. Okay, Dragoon and App Cologne.
Yep, and Called By. If we get Designator.
And you don't think we're going to get Designator?
I don't think we're going to get it, because that'd be too good.
Okay, so just Dragoon and App Cologne.
Pretty much.
Okay. Cards you think will be limited. You still don't think we're gonna get Crossout, so Maxi will stay banned.
Yes.
Okay. So your limits will be. Okay, one more time. Bans are Dragoon and App Cologne.
Yes.
Your limits. Tenki, Meltdown, Blaster, and Mystic Mind.
Yep.
And your no semis and your unlimits.
Nadir Servant, Miscellaneous Saurus, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, or Red MD, and Called by the Grave if we get neither Cross the Designator nor or Maxi. So I think Called by the Grave's going to 3.
Okay, so your unlimit calls, the actual changes that'll occur, are Darkness Metal Dragon
and Called by the Grave.
And you think Called by the Grave goes to 3. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
that's my those are my predictions.
Okay, so mine are a little bit more aggressive, I think, but I don't necessarily think that it's a terrible decision.
Not at all.
My bans, Guard Dragon LP. I feel very good about this. I think this is the list. I think this is the one. My inside info at Konami tells me this is the one.
Sure, your inside info.
Right.
The inside info of both of our hearts, because I actually hope LP does get banned.
All right. I also have Apkalon getting banned. We've talked about this before the podcast. We did this when we were doing show notes. A lot of our cards overlap. This is one of them. I truly believe Apkalon gets banned. I think Miscellaneosaurus gets banned. And I have a good reason. But we'll go over more about it after.
Yeah.
My limits. Striker Dragon. Magical Meltdown. Blaster. And Mystic Mine. I have one semi-limit, which is Salamangreat Gazelle.
Gazelle to 2. Ooh.
So, the reason that I have Gazelle to 2 is because, realistically, if you have... excuse me. If you have 2 Gazelles, that is... And, okay, so we talked to somebody that has played Salamangreat in the past, knows a lot more about the deck than we do because we did not play an Eternal format.
Sadly.
And I asked him, which helps the deck more? Mirage Stallion to 1 or Gazelle to 2? And he told me Mirage Stallion to 1. So I picked Gazelle to 2.
Because that's what Konami would do, is the thing that would be the least... Impactful.
Right. I'm going to be honest. I have the Forbidden Limited list pulled up right now. And I'm kind of glancing through it just to make sure that there's nothing else here that I see that could go to 2. Possibly Salamangreat Circle. Because I do think that Salamangreat will have something come back a little bit on this list. But other than that, I see nothing. So, Skill Drain, I think, could come to 2.
Maybe.
And Macro also. I think Skill Drain and Macro could both come to 2. We might do that we might save that for the opinion piece.
Yeah, that'd be for the opinion piece. Whether or not they can, whether or not they should.
So my official semi-limits are Salamangreat Gazelle and Salamangreat Circle. And for my unlimits, I also think that Red MD will be unlimited. With a hard once per turn, I think an unlimit's fine. But that's it. That's the only card I have coming off the list.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of at the point where so many of these cards are so high in the power ceiling that it's like, sure, there's cards that could probably come off the list, but not a bunch of them.
Yeah, like maybe, and this is a hard maybe, one Skullcrobat Joker, but then all the rest of the stuff from Pepe needs to stay banned.
I think an Astrograph Sorcerer could probably come back to 1.
Possibly. Maybe
I don't know a ton about pendulums, but I know that I hear a lot of people talk about it. I think Electromite could probably come back to 1. You know? Leave the deck playable at least.
Maybe another Odd Eye Sorcerer or whatever it's called. The one that 2 banlists ago got put up to 1 and everybody was freaking out about. Irish Magician.
Oh yeah, double Irish Magician.
Like maybe put double Irish Magician to 2 because it's been doing nothing.
I've heard Dynamite Knight, the True Draco fighter. I've heard a lot of people move him to 2. That way he can come off the list. But I'll be honest, I've seen videos where he comes back to 2 and 3 and like they playtest with him and it was kind of insane. So I'm like,
Yeah. I think he should stay at 1.
Yeah. The only other thing, I have heard some people float Block Dragon to 1. But I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
I think competitive play is opening back up again in some places, and people just want to have a reason to play Adam Emancipator.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about our reasoning behind things. I'll start. I did have an LP ban. Like I said, I think it's time. I think it's done. I think it's time to really hit Dragon Link, which is why I had the LP ban and the Striker Dragon limit. I just noticed that you didn't have Striker Dragon limited, and you didn't have LP banned. You didn't hit Dragon Link at all.
Well, now here's the thing though. Before I learned about El Dorado this morning, I was like, nope, LP gone. LP's going to get banned. It's time, boys. But then Chamber Dragon made reprint. I'm like, they're going to want to keep LP to help push that. That's my reasoning behind it not being banned. And that's the only reason they wouldn't ban it.
That's interesting. Okay.
It is literally the only reason they would not ban that card. It is exclusively to help push the Chamber Dragon Maid and Eldorado.
Okay. So I'm leaving LP banned because having the extender there, having the free summon, it's just too good. And basically, because you have LP, you can grab Brotar, and Brotar is going to grab you Levianair. And LP doesn't turn into a +1, it turns into a +2 or 3, and then you're ripping a card out of your opponent's hand or clearing back row. It's too much.
Or in some wonky builds, you're actually banishing 3 lights and getting Monster Reborn.
It's literally... It's like the perfect extender.
Oh, absolutely no. Like I said, if it wasn't because Chamber Dragon Maid, LP would be gone.
Yeah, so... I that's why I have LP gone. I don't really think that it needs a ton of explanation. But... I think that it was worth... I still,
Yeah, but that...
You gotta talk about it.
Yeah, but that was most of me explaining why I don't think it's going to get hit. It's exclusive because of the Chamber Dragon Maid reprint. They're going to want to push that.
Alright, let's talk about your next one. Let's talk about Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Why do you think it's going to get hit?
Okay, most because it's such a super splashable engine. It's 2 garnet. It's 3 garnets in the... It's like 2 garnets in the main.
3. Well, 2.5.
2.5.
No, it's 2 because Red Eyes Fusion is not a garnet. You can just play it.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, yeah, but then you're locked into only summoning Red Eyes monsters or whatever. But you do it as the very last thing you do as on your turn.
Plus, I mean, it's free.
Yeah,
it's a free negate. It's a free burn your opponent for half their life points. Sometimes it's just free.
Yeah, it's very much a case of a worst case scenario. You still get your Red Eyes Dragoon on board, but you don't get it as early as you would have wanted it to negate a hand trap.
Have you ever thought about banning Red Eyes Fusion instead?
I've thought about it.
I just don't know that there's... Like, I feel like if you ban Red Eyes Fusion, then it becomes a Dark Magician card. Because they have to play Keeper of Dragon Magic or Red Eyes in their Dark Magician decks to hit it.
Yeah, not only that, but then you also completely shut out any of the players who want to play the Red Eyes deck entirely out of the entire extra deck for Red Eyes. Outside of...
Are you sure about that?
Outside of Red Eye Sword.
Yeah, but the Red Eyes cards are terrible.
Yeah, they are, but there's still people who want to play them.
Okay. Well... The reason I did not have Dragoon banned in my list, even though it's already banned in the OCG, we have only had it we've had it less than a year. They introduced it in last year's Megatons. The card currently sits between $70 and $80 last time I checked at price point, which is kind of high for a card that was in the Megatons, which it was the world premiere in the Megatons. And
then like a month after the Megatons come out, it got banned in the OCG.
Yeah, I just... The card hasn't had time to get a reprint over here. So...
But yeah, I don't think they're going to reprint it anytime soon. So I'm thinking they're just going to go ahead and ban it.
I feel like they still have an opportunity to make money off of it again. And... If they can get the opportunity to make money off of a reprint, whether it be in this year's Megatons again, or whether it be in, whatever, whether it be in a structure deck, whether it be, which I don't think will happen, King's Court, whatever. I think they're going to wait till another reprint, and once they get a reprint out and get it really done, I think that's when it gets banned. But it needs to be banned. I just don't think they will this list.
Yeah, again, because it's splashable and everything. If you can make a Link 2, if you can make a Dark Link 2...
Yeah, so... The next one is El Shadal App Clone. We agree that we both think this card will be banned on this list.
Yeah. App Clone by itself with Nadir Servant just allows for such a tiny, itty-bitty...
How many cards are we talking here?
2 extra deck, 1 main.
3 card Shadal package.
Yup. And you can hit window.
Yeah.
All because Nadir Servant... Nadir Servant or Maximus, I think, can do it. It's you mill the... Or, if you really wanted to, extra Foolish Burial. Ha ha ha.
I wonder if Diviner can do it.
Maybe. Anyway, so the whole point is they used Nadir Servant to send the app clone from extra deck to the graveyard, activate its effect, search for Schism, add Schism to hand, discard a random card, set the Schism. Next turn, activate Schism, banish app clone as your Shadal material, and then a dark monster to special summon Winda.
It's really good. And the thing about it is that if you don't have app clone, then you can't Nadir Servant send app clone search Schism. You have to either hard draw the Schism, or I guess have Shadal Fusion. I mean,
yeah, you have to run main deck Shadal outside of Schism.
You have to actually have a Shadal deck.
Yeah.
So I think Nadir Servant is actually a bigger problem because Nadir Servant creates a lot more versatility. Things like having Intis pops or whatever. Wind Pegasus Ad Ignister interruptions. Having the ability to have those interruptions basically for free.
On top of also getting a search, I think.
Something like, yeah, I think you also get a search. Having all that versatility, like Nadir Servant can literally make you go plus like 4. But we agree, again, Konami hasn't had a chance to reprint it. It hasn't.
They're going to reprint it in the Mega 10. They're going to make all their money off of it, then ban it. Or limit. One or the other.
Right. The card should be banned. I think the card's more of a problem than App Clone is, but App Clone is too easy. It's been out for over a year now. Yep. It's too easy of a target.
The print, the structure deck it was printed in is out of print. It's the structure deck's also not slated to be reprinted in the Mega 10, so
yeah. I think App Cologne is what they're actually going to target here to hurt that Invoke Shadal Dogmatica deck, because App Cologne being gone hurts the deck like a lot.
It immediately eliminates the entire Shadal part.
Yeah, I mean, so at that point you're just running Invoke Dogmatica, which if you can't just turbo Winda, it's really not as good.
Yeah, exactly. But then it also still leaves your standard Shadal decks able to function.
Yeah, because an actual true Trap Shadal or even an Invoke Shadal deck can still play without App Cologne, because they can still actually make Winda the way you're supposed to make it.
Yeah. Now, granted, they don't like doing it without App Cologne, but
yeah, App Cologne is easier.
But it does again allow for, Winda to be made how it's intended to be made, where you actually utilize resources to make the damn thing.
Listen, there's a recurring theme here, and that is Shadal makes an extremely small splashable engine, and App Cologne is the facility. Like, App Cologne facilitates an engine that you can splash in almost anything, basically for free.
Keep in mind, it runs 1 Garnet in the main. 1.
And is it truly a Garnet? Because if you hard draw it,
you can set it, but then you're kind of borked if you try to. Like, it's not exactly efficient. It makes you have to work a little bit harder, but not that much harder.
I think App Cologne is what causes it to be splashable, and
yeah.
App Cologne's the problem.
Oh, absolutely, because App Cologne is what lets you search the Schism in the first place.
Yeah, so the next card I want to talk about is Miscellaneousaurus. I think it's time to ban it, and the reason for that is, personally, I think as powerful as Scrap Raptor is, and as the options and the versatility that it gives the deck, at this point, I truly believe this, the deck is basically Dragon Link, except you can't do anything about it because of Misk.
Exactly. That blanket protection for the entire main phase.
And then it also, once it hits that grave, it turns into a free extender, because it lets you search and summon Animadon Archosaur for free. And then Archosaur pops a baby,
which then special summons, and y'all search the double evolution pill, blah 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 blah.
Misk turns into a free UCT.
Yeah. And then of course Misk also sends itself to the graveyard,
right,
to activate its banish effect, which is ridiculous. How many other cards do that where they have graveyard effects that activate where they send themselves for a.
I can't think of another card in the game where you can activate its effect to send itself to grave, and then activate another effect in grave to go plus.
The only other card that I can think of is Chaos Space, and it's a spell card.
Which, honestly, also probably should be limited or banned.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think they'll do it here, but honestly, that card should be discussed on a limit or a ban. That card
that'll be part of the opinion piece.
That card's not going to get touched until a deck comes along that like is a chaos-centric deck and breaks it. Like when we get Battles of Chaos late this year, beginning of next year, whenever it comes out, all we have is a name so far. If there's like a chaos-centric archetype that truly... Chaos Space is already broken. Like, even in the Dragon Link deck, it's broken.
Oh, yeah.
But if there's a deck... I mean, Chaos Space makes Dragon Link go, like, plus, what, 4 easy?
1 second. I'm doing the math in my head. It's a free +1. It is a pot of greed.
Okay, but it also creates... It lets you... Like, but if you have, like, a white dragon or a black dragon...
But the big thing about it is... It gives you that extra discard fodder... So you don't have. So then it gives you extra cards in your hand to discard through Dragon Ravine or Brotar.
It's an extremely versatile card.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How about we say that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I can. Yeah, no. With it, you could send Safer to grab Black Dragon and send one of your rockets to grab White Dragon. Plus, then you also get whatever you draw off the top. If you get an Absolute Router and you have a rocket, boom, free special summon. You get Noctovision.
Yeah.
Special summon a Dark Dragon monster, boom, free body on board.
Yeah. So, I think Misk, because, like, coming back from Cast Space back to Misk, I think Misk should be banned because it is so free plus in a deck that because of Scrap Raptor, it doesn't need that free plus anymore. Now, we're talking about a deck that, a realistic end board, I know it's a realistic end board because it happened to me, is a 3-negate Appaloosa, a Dweller, UCT, and a 2-negate Borreload Savage. Oh my god. How do you stop that? I mean, I did break the board, but I still lost the game because of the resources I had to expend to do it.
Yeah, like, you have, like, first off, you have to bait the Borreload Savage negate.
Yeah, all you can really realistically hope for is to have Forbidden Droplet or Dark Ruler, and even then, that's not a guarantee.
You would probably need, you would have to, yeah, you would pretty much need Droplet, almost exclusively.
Yeah, or Dark Ruler.
Well, that's the thing, because if you activate Dark Ruler, they'll just, chain what's that spell? They'll chain a spell card, and then... I forgot, there's a way they can get around it, I just can't remember.
Well, no, okay, so I think what you're thinking about... I guess you could do Forbidden Lance.
Yeah.
Because, like... That's the big brain play right now that I've heard some people talking about.
Yeah,
you can use Forbidden Lance to make something like your Borreload Savage unaffected by like a Dark Ruler no more or something, and then you still have a Nominee negate.
Yeah, which is absolutely ridiculous.
So, but something that... Okay, so we're going to move on from Misk, but I think it should and probably will be banned because now the deck is so powerful they don't even need it anymore to be a full combo deck. So, but the next thing is Called by the Grave. So we're going to talk about Called by the Grave, Max C, and Crossout Designator all at once because I think we're like-minded opinions on this, but on my official list, I don't have Called by the Grave or Max C moving because I don't think we actually get Crossout Designator in King's Court.
Yeah.
But that said,
yeah, it's a possibility. That's the thing. I think that there is, in fact, a possibility. Realistically, though, the pessimist in me says, no, they're not, because that'd be too good.
Yeah, so I don't think we're going to get Crossout Designator because I think that, first of all, I don't think we're going to get Crossout Designator because I think Konami hates us, but also I think TCG Konami is kind of just fine with things the way they are. But
for better or worse.
Yeah. I think the second we get Crossout Designator, they will probably unlimit Call By and Max C. Realistically. I don't think there's a need to ban or limit. I mean, as of right now, I think there's a realistic argument for banning Call By because the card's a Saki one of right now and it's broken. But at the same time, I feel like it's a card that you should either be at 3 or at 0. So I don't know.
Now here's the thing. I don't think if they do bring back Maxi, I don't think they're going to put just unleash the fetters all at one go. I think they're going to do one for Banlist, and the next Banlist go, okay, this is fine. Let's go all three.
The thing is, though, if we have Crossout Designator and Called By at full power,
yes,
there's no reason not to have Max C at 3.
Yeah, but that's if they go that route, with Crossout at 3 and Designator at 3. But I think they're going to start with banning Designator to make... banning Called By to make everyone get Designators.
I think... Okay, here's the thing. If Konami was really big brain, if they just had more wrinkles... The really smart thing to do here, and I promise, I really believe this, is to print Crossout Designator and King's Court as a rare and a collector's rare. That way you have the max rarity for the rarity horrors, and then you have the
low rarity, cheap
low
version.
rarity. Yeah, so you have like a copy that's $1. People can pick up 3 of them really easily. And then you turn around, unlimit Called By, because that's not going to hurt your Crossout. That's not going to hurt your sales for King's Court. People are still going to want to get their Crossout Designator.
Oh,
They're still going to want their collector's.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the collector rare Designator by itself would still do that.
Right, but I think Called By and Crossout Designator, I think Maxi should be at 3. So I think
at that point you might as well
put Maxi at 3, put Called By at 3, and print Crossout Designator as both a rare and a collector's rare. I would... Honestly, Konami might get a free pass for everything for the last, 6 months if they did that.
Yeah, like at that point, I would say, if they did that, I would say the 6-month pushback on...
I don't even care anymore if they do that.
Yeah,
If they do exactly that, I literally don't even care anymore. We both agree. We think Max C should be a major part of the game.
Yeah, no, because I remember, back in the day, the Max C Challenge. And it was the... you start going, your opponent drops a Max C, you then have to think, do I keep going, or do I stop here? Then there's that whole back and forth between...
It creates interplay, which is what the game's all about.
Unless, of course, your opponent Max C's and you also have a Max C in hand.
Yeah.
But then now, something else that people have to consider with Max C in today's meta is also the hand traps. Because now your opponent could not have an Ash in hand, and you'll be sitting there comboing with under Max C, and they're drawing, and they draw Ash, and then you get Ashed. That's something else that you have to consider. But your opponent has to think, what if they have the Max C in hand as well?
Yeah.
And that again, it's a different interplay. It's a little more...
Here's an interesting thought. That if you build your Dragon Link board, in today's deck, where people are running 2 ofs and 3 ofs, but those 2 ofs and 3 ofs are once per turn, right? Is there a realistic scenario where you take the Maxi challenge, go Dragon Link, go full board, build your full board, say a Borreload Savage with 2 negates,
3 negates,
sure, 3 negates, whatever, a couple of Fog Blades, and... say a 3 negate Appaloosa. Because you have to feel like they're gonna ash something at some point.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But at that point, they probably have 2 ashes dead in their hand.
Yeah.
They might Nibiru you, sure, but realistically.
But I mean, they may not get the Nibiru until after I've already dropped Borreload Savage or Appaloosa.
Right. So realistically, if you already have a negate up early, and you take the Maxi challenge, they might draw 20 to 25 cards. Then they're looking at a 15-card deck full of once per turns.
Very possibly, but then
they're looking at a 25-card hand full of once per turns. Sure, they can try to do stuff, but Tri-Brigade, that would hurt me. Because I want to be able to send Fractal, to send Kit, to send Nerval from the deck. If that's all in my hand, I'm having a bad time. Because now my hand is clogged.
That's a fair point. Tri-Brigade doesn't like having a lot of its stuff in hand.
And then, I'm basically going to have to try to get as much of this into the grave as possible. I'm going to have to Forbidden Droplet for, 1 million.
Yeah. But then, of course, also, you also have to keep in mind, that also gives your opponent a high chance of drawing Dark Lunomorph, Forbidden Droplet, Evenly Matched.
But if you can figure out a way to respond to that.
Exactly.
See, okay, this is exactly what we're trying to illustrate. It creates so much more interplay and decision making that we think is healthy for the game. Maxi should be at 3 for this exact reason.
Yeah. Because then, there's a lot more. But there's a lot. It takes some of the skill of the game out of deck building and puts it more into the actual gameplay aspect.
Resource management.
Yeah, as opposed to right now where it's 75% deck building.
Yeah, the game is way more deck building oriented now because this is like literally got 'em the game. If you have it, you have it.
If you don't, you lose.
I was talking to somebody about this today. This game is no longer resource management, grinding, making the right reads and everything. It's literally just memorize your combos and either you or your opponents got it. And at that point, whoever's got it wins. And it's all about who has the tempo. It's such a tempo-based game instead of a resource management game that it's a completely different game than it was 10 years ago.
Where Dino Rabbit, I'm just going to grind out your resources until you're out and then bash you in the face.
Yeah. Okay, so we gave our opinions on Max C. We're going to move on. I think Striker Dragon gets limited. This goes with the LP ban. I think it's time to really hit Dragon Link. I think LP ban, Striker Dragon limit. I'm not going to say it kills the deck, but
it'll make it like tier 2, low tier 2.
Yeah, basically the deck will have to completely retool all of their combo lines. The Chamber Dragon Maid build will be basically the mandatory build you have to play.
But that's not that big of a deal since we got the reprints coming out, which
you might even have to build full on Dragon Maid Dragon Link, which is a deck. I mean, you can build Dragon Link Dragon Maids.
And then of course there's also the possibility of branching into going back a couple of builds in the past into Rose Dragons, or even leaning even more heavily into your Rockets.
Yeah, it creates the deck will have to be rebuilt to accommodate the limitations. But honestly, I really don't think limiting Striker and banning LP kills the deck. It hurts it an enormous amount. I don't think it kills it. It leaves it playable.
Like I said, it'll make it down to low tier 2. But
they said the same thing when Link Cross got banned. And here's the deck. It's still here.
Hold on. But, and that's a big but, that entirely depends on, I think, how this next ban list, what else happens in the ban list.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole format's got to shape up somehow.
Yeah, like, if it was literally just LP ban, Striker limit, it would that's all that would happen is Dragon Link would go down to...
Yeah,
it would go down to like a low tier 2 until somebody figures something else out. But, like, let's say 10 Key goes down to 1, Magical Meltdown down to 1, Blaster comes back, Mystic Mind's at 1, blah, blah, blah. Just big nuclear, everything moves. Dogs and cats living together. Horses eating each other. Absolute madness. In that kind of situation...
What was that rant?
In that kind of situation, have you not seen, I don't remember the movie. Oh, no. Where Bill Murray had that rant. It was Ghostbusters.
It
was in Ghostbusters.
Dogs and cats living together. Okay,
yeah. Horses eating each other. Ah! Anyway, like...
Madness.
Yeah, like I said, in that kind of situation...
end of the world.
Like, it would still be within Tier 1. That's because everything else has also been reined in with it.
Okay.
But the deck would be completely different at that point.
Yeah, the deck... I think even with the restrictions that I put on it, the deck will get retooled and it'll get put back together and it'll be still good.
Oh yeah.
So let's move on though. We're running short on time.
Yeah.
Let's kind of power through these kind of quick. So your next one, you had 10 key limited. What about that?
Okay, so big reason why is because Tri Brigade's kind of becoming the deck.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that they'll only do that to kind of rein in its consistency just a little bit.
I respect that.
Yeah, I can also see them doing it to 2, like they did in the OCG. But considering how the TCG tends to do this kind of thing, it's going to go to 1.
So the reason that I didn't limit Tenki on my list is because, one, if Tenki can survive all the way through Zoo format and all the way through Fire Fist format, I don't see a reason that it won't survive here. Especially since if Tri Brigade is the actual issue, it depends. If they want to hit the Zodiac engine, then I think they hit a card within the Zodiac engine itself.
Like Trident.
Right.
Dragon Mommy.
Right. I don't necessarily think that 10 key is the problem, because in the Tri-Brigade engine, literally all it does is search Fractal. Which, don't get me wrong, Fractal starts your whole combo.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think Fractal alone is enough to justify limiting 10 key. I mean, sure, it would be a crazy consistency hit, but I just don't think the deck needs it. If you limit 10 key, then they just cut the Zodiac line and go back to Lyrilisk, which come January, Lyrilisk would probably be the best build of this deck anyway, with all the new Lyrilisk support coming.
Oh, yeah. Particularly the that card from Animation Chronicle. Once we get that, that's even going to be even better.
Yeah. So the next one is Magical Meltdown. We agree. We think this card should be limited. This is another hit to the Invoke Shaddoll Dogmatica deck.
Also, I just hate
not being able to respond to their fusions.
Yeah, it just makes all fusion summon. It just makes all fusion cards
Spell Speed 4.
Spell Speed 4, which I think is disgusting. I don't mind, like, having one specific one being Spell Speed 4. I don't like it, but it's understandable. That's fine. Having all of them be Spell Speed 4 is absolutely
ridiculous.
Disgusting.
Yeah, so we agree Magical Meltdown. It's a consistency hit to the Invoked engine, which it sorely needs. It's way too splashable, it's in too much, and it needs a consistency hit. Blaster Dragon Ruler of Infernos, it's the weakest Dragon Ruler that's still banned. Yes, it gets a pop. Yes, it's generic fire support. Yes, it's generic dragon support. I don't think it matters. I think I think the card can come off to 1.
People aren't running Tempest, and it doesn't destroy. It non-targets returns to the top of the deck.
Yeah, I just if we can have 1, we can have 2. We went through them. Redox is obviously the best. We didn't want Redox to come back. We talked about Tidal, but honestly, the Mermail deck is already kind of like the Mermail Atlantean water deck. I know when I say that, people are like, that's the deck from 2013. What are you talking about? But like the deck is actually, like, the deck's got combos. The deck is capable of ripping a couple of cards from your hand. The deck can win a game. So I think the deck is worth considering. And because the deck still exists and it's still playable on a competitive level, it really is, I promise. I don't think they'll bring Tidal back.
Especially since they got Brionic back.
Yeah, I don't see it. So
yeah.
We agree, Mystic Mine. They've already reprinted it. They're not making money off of it, and it's super toxic. But the thing is, we didn't ban it. We limited it.
Yeah. I mean, what deck can't run Mystic Mine?
Yeah, so basically Mystic Mine, if you notice, if you look at the trends in the meta, it's seeing a huge increase in play as the meta becomes more combo-oriented. And because of that, people are teching in a Mystic Mine as well as native outs. They're teching in a Mystic Mine. They might throw in some Cyclones or some Twin Twisters or whatever in the hopes that they can activate Mystic Mine after their opponent combos. And then after they activate Mystic Mine, they can just wait until they have all their combo pieces in their hand. They can Dark Ruler or whatever, stop their opponent's board, and then go full board out their opponent's board because they can get rid of their own Mystic Mine. So because people are teching in Mystic Mine and it's becoming really splashable, we want to see it reined in, and we think it will get reined in, but I don't think Konami will limit it because I don't necessarily think they want to kill the Mystic Mine deck.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I don't know. I could just as easily see this card getting banned.
Yeah.
But a splashable stall tool is not something. They don't like anything that's splashable in literally everything. So, semi-limited. I personally think Salamangreat Gazelle and Salamangreat Circle will be semi-limited. I think that the cards are powerful. The deck is extremely consistent. But I think that this is a little bit easier to digest than bringing back Mirage Stalio. I know a lot of people want Mirage Stalio back, but I think one Mirage Stalio would be better for the deck, which means this is probably the play because
the play that Konami is going to make anyway.
Yeah, they don't want to give the most powerful piece back immediately. They want to give back the lower level pieces.
See what happens, and then if literally the deck does absolutely nothing, they'll give it a little bit more, then a little bit more, then a little bit more.
But the deck is so fair. I think it's kind of been power crept a lot, so I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So
it's a little too fair.
Unlimits, we both think Darkness Metal Dragon's coming off. It's a hard once per turn. There's not really a super great reason to run more than one, and we've already talked about
Nadir,
Misk, and Call By, and Maxi. So
yeah, we already talked about them a whole bunch. So
just to wrap up, we're gonna go over it one more time. my personal list, I have LP Band, I have Apcolone Band, I have Miscellaneousaurus Band. For limited, I have Striker Dragon, Magical Meltdown, Blaster, and Mystic Mine. So that's 3 bands, 4 limits, 2 semi-limits, Salamangreat, Gazelle, and Circle, and 1 unlimit. So that's 9 cards total.
Yeah, like 9 cards moved.
I don't think Konami will make like a nuclear list, so I think 9 cards is like a fair number.
Yeah. Then for me, I had Dragoon Band, I had Apcolone Band, I had Call by the Grave possibly Band. For now, I'm not going to count that, so that's 3 bands. 10 Key Limited, Meltdown Limited, Blaster Limited, Mystic Mine Limited, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards right there. Coming off is Red MD, so that's 8 cards.
Yeah, so we're in the same neighborhood as far as number of total cards moving, but I think it's like 7 to 10 is the most you'll see. I think there's a realistic world in which Konami says, we kind of like the format. It's super diverse. Dragon Link representation is falling, and which I think is mainly because everybody knows how to counter the deck. Like they know how to interrupt it and where to put that interruption. So
yeah,
you know.
they know where to punch it in the knee.
Yeah, so because of that, there's a realistic world where Konami just doesn't do anything. Because I think if you talk to most people will agree this is kind of an awesome format right now. It's super diverse. It's super, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of fun decks, and there's a lot of great decks. But
it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever. There's always things that can make this a lot better. They make the entire game a lot more.
This is not a toxic format, though. It's really not.
It's not as toxic as people think it is.
Yeah. That said, I think it can get out of hand quickly. Because I think Drytron, Scrap Dino, and Dragon Link, with the boards that they can build, are probably the 3 best decks in no particular order.
Yeah. Tri Brigade, just kind of menacingly in the back.
Man, Zoo Brigade is so weird because it could easily be the best deck, but it could also easily be the 5th best deck.
Yeah, that's why I said it's menacingly in the background, just staring at everyone.
It can beat any of those decks. It proved it can beat any and all of those decks in the Invitational. Mm-hmm. Dude beat all those decks. But at the same time, I don't know that it translates over like 10 rounds of a tournament. I guess it could. It does it in the extravaganzas. It's won several. But I don't know, man.
It's one of those things where the deck is great until I run it, then it's terrible.
I mean, I run the heck out of it, and I love that deck. I got my first top ever with that deck recently. But I just, that said, I don't know if it's still that great of a deck because Book of Moon is still a good card.
Book of Moon will always be a good card.
Yeah, but against that deck, it's a really good card.
Hey now, with Dragon Link, if you Book of Moon that first summon, I just kind of stare at you and go, why? Why?
So, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's episode, though.
Oh yeah, fascinating discussion.
Yeah, so next episode, we will have at least one guest on. There's an outside chance there's 2 guests. We'll see. But we will more than likely have one guest on. His name is Dylan. He's a close friend of mine. He's a listener. He's from our locals in Alexandria. And we should be coming back. They have a Yu-Gi-Oh! They devote, once a month, they devote like an entire day to Yu-Gi-Oh! They run not just their large advanced tournament, they'll run a bunch of side pod tournaments. They'll do
it's
raffles, door prizes. It's a big
deal.
Yeah, so this will be like a half case tournament that they're doing this weekend, which is awesome. So we're gonna be there all day. We're gonna leave the case tournament. We're gonna come back to my house, get in the studio, record an episode, quick thoughts, as well as we'll do Dylan's Banlist discussion. And
at that point, it's just what we think should actually happen. Not
our opinions on what we would do to fix the game.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. And then, so if you're looking forward to that, do that. I do want to ask a favor of our listeners. Please reach out to us on Twitter. At Top Cut Podcast. The link will be in the description below. I'm at Dat Chumley. Caleb is at JamTheMan17. But please reach out to us on the podcast Twitter. We really, really, really want to know if anybody would be interested in us recording if you would be interested in us streaming our recording live on Twitch. So when we go to record, we will start a stream on Twitch while we record, and then while we record the episode of the podcast until we're done recording. And then, so if you're in our Twitch, you'll get to listen a few days later, and then it'll go up on Spotify and all the normal places a couple of days after.
Oh yeah.
So it's something we've played around with, something we've asked about. I did ask on Twitter, and I had some positive feedback. But it's something we want our regular, steady listener base to reach out to us about and tell us about. Because at the end of it, there's nothing that we value more than our listeners' opinion. But we can't do anything with that listener opinion if they're just keeping it to themselves. So we are asking very kindly, please reach out to us. And at the end of the day, we like engaging with our listeners. We love that. And we want nothing more than that. So thank you all again so much for listening. We really can't thank you enough. We are so grateful to have the loyal people that listen every episode that we do. We ask that you share it with your friends, send them a link, say, hey, check this out. This is cool. They're getting better. They post religiously on Tuesdays and Fridays, even if it kills them and they have to stay up till midnight recording. Cough, cough, what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So thank you all again. I really can't thank you enough. I'm having a blast doing this, and I hope you all are having a blast listening.
Oh, yeah, I know I certainly am. I hope everyone has a great day or evening or whatever time of day it is.
Yeah. So, thank you all again so much. Have a wonderful day.
Take care, everybody.